I've always thought everyone at some point in their life should work in customer service. Retail, hospitality, restaurants, because it teaches you so much about humanity. You learn humility, patience, it's a big one, strength, and how to help people. I started in service and ended up devoting my entire career to customer service. I've worked in a coffee shop, a shoe store, a tuxedo rental shop. That was a nightmare for me. A barbecue rib restaurant, a hotel, Applebee's. Restaurant after restaurant. It's actually where I met my husband, at a restaurant. I have been a busser. I was a dishwasher. I was a hostess, which was my favorite one. And eventually I was a server, and I wasn't very good at it. I have a few nightmare stories where I dropped a whole tray of plates of steaks and sauce into one man's lap because it slid and just went boom, 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 boom. It was so loud. And everybody clapped. He was a big mess, and I ran to the restroom. That is what led me to later into retail when I started at Foley's department store, which was eventually bought out by Macy's. That's where I really began to see how deep customer service runs. I learned a lot about customer service. Sorry. It's discontinued. So last week, we talked about the front lines of customer service, those real moments behind the counter when you're smiling, even though you're tired, keeping your cool while someone whistles for help or yells, "Hey, you," and wondering if humanity took a lunch break and didn't come back. But before we jump in today, just a quick note. Everything I talk about here on Sorry, It's Discontinued comes from my own experience working in retail for 25 plus years and my point of view. I don't speak for any brand or store. I'm just sharing what I've seen, lived, experienced, and learned along the way, and highlighting what my friends and colleagues and retail warriors, what they go through. Now, this week, I want to zoom out a little bit, still talking about customer service. Because customer service, it didn't change and go this way overnight. And somewhere between handwritten thank you notes and automated chatbots, something special has gotten lost or is getting lost. Today, we're taking a step back and maybe a little bit forward to look at how service has changed, what it used to mean, what it's become, and what it might look like if we brought the human touch back into it. This is part 2 of our customer service episode. And if you've ever stood behind a counter with tired feet, tired of the concrete, this one's for you. Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Sorry, It's Discontinued. I'm Hillary, your host, and thank you for joining me today. I appreciate you. Now, customer service wasn't always about speed or efficiency, which is what it feels like right now. It started with connection, people helping people. And if you go back to the 1800s, stores like Le Bon Marche in Paris or Marshall Field in Chicago, they built their reputations on trust and comfort. I highlighted this last week. Tea rooms, free delivery, and the simple idea of give the lady what she wants. Service, it meant care and not quotas. So, fun fact, back then, department stores were basically the original girls' day out. You'd shop, you could gossip, you'd have lunch with your friends, and probably leave with a new hat and some new info on the ladies in the neighborhood. Then came the golden decades, the 1940s through the 1960s, when department stores were really all of the theaters of experience, just magical, where beauty counters, it wasn't just about makeup. They were about transformation. Brands like Estee Lauder, Elizabeth Arden, Helena Rubinstein made pampering feel personal. So special. Okay, so fun fact. In the 1960s, similar to before, women went to department stores for facials and makeup and gossip. Think Real Housewives, but with spa, makeup, and better manners. Now, by the 1970s and 1980s, luxury service became an art form. Personal shoppers, handwritten thank you notes, elegant lounge areas. It was standard at Saks and Neiman Marcus. Nordstrom raised the bar. Now, Nordstrom raised the bar with its no receipt required return policy, service built on trust. Now, the policy was so trusting, which you guys have probably heard the story before, but a man literally once returned a set of car tires to Nordstrom, and they didn't even sell tires. So that's really amazing service, or somebody just not wanting to say no to this man. But in the 90s, we saw loyalty programs, artistry events, and a sense of belonging. You knew your regulars, and they knew you. Then came the internet, and convenience became the new currency. And yet, despite all of the tech, the emotional part of the job, what psychologists call emotional labor, truthfully, for my retail warriors, for myself, it only grew heavier. Associates learning to smile, even though you're exhausted, the kind of smile that says, yes, I'd love to help you find another shade of red lipstick, even though we've just tried 20. They stayed calm when someone was unkind, helped people who didn't want to be helped, and kept going, even when you're just running on empty. Now that's emotional strength. Retail warriors are badasses, honestly, in my opinion. That's grace under pressure. Now, that also is what makes customer service powerful. It teaches patience under stress and kindness under strain. And somehow, even in all the chaos, it reminds us of why we do it, to make someone's day just a little better. Even when kindness, it feels so hard to find, especially nowadays. Fast forward to today, and we're living in a completely different customer service universe. Stores are cutting costs, associates are doing more with less. Customers want everything faster, cheaper, and ironically, with less human interaction. Even when they come into stores, they want it quick. There's this new get it done now energy in everything. Even luxury retail isn't immune. You can literally buy high-end skincare or fancy accessories on Amazon now. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know about you, but it makes me pause and just ask, how many people are actually buying these luxury goods on Amazon? It is through a Saks website that's connected to Amazon. But where's the pageantry in that? I don't know. The complimentary glass of Prosecco that makes you feel like you were in an Audrey Hepburn movie instead of just ordering something from your couch. Of course, the want it now, need it for the weekend. I'm going out. I want to look hot. Yes, I understand that, but buying such a beautiful piece, it is really fun and unique to go into a store and work with an associate. Especially, they'll understand the details and the things that you want and the story behind the piece. Now, comedian Ronnie Chang, who I love, think he's fucking hilarious. He captured it perfectly when he said 2 day shipping wasn't fast enough. He had this whole Netflix special. It's about 5 years ago or so. I'm sure you can find it. But he talks about 2 day shipping and how it's just wasn't fast enough anymore. Now we want it before we even know we want it. And honestly, that's exactly what customer service it feels like today. People want things done yesterday. Fix it. Now, recently, I came across a book called Digital Customer Service by Rick DeLisi and Dan McCauley. They talk about moving from phone first to screen first, making service faster, more automated. But does that work for retail? That begs the question, doesn't it miss the heart of what we do when we're thinking so much about tech and AI? Because you can automate checkout, but you can't automate connection. And the connection is what brings people back. It's what makes the transaction, that moment of purchase, really special. You can't replace the magic of a real conversation. Helping someone find the right lipstick for their wedding, for their anniversary, or a fragrance that reminds them of their grandma or their mom. Hearing those stories and connecting with a human who's connecting with you, that's the magic. So studies show the digital-only customer service workers experience higher burnout and lower satisfaction than those who work face-to-face. Translation: even your favorite chat rep, who there's a person behind the chat, might be crying behind the "how can I help you today" pop-up box. Think about that. Not the automated chat that comes up when you first go on a website, but the literal chat that you pull up when you ask for a representative. So being kind to that chat person, is that unreasonable? Even if you're chatting over a problem? So maybe the answer, it isn't keeping up with all this digital, all this tech that's going on. But actually, what if it's a sign that we need to slow down and bring back the humanity in retail for the retail warriors, for the customers? Because online can deliver convenience, absolutely. You're ordering online, you buy it, pick up curbside. But when you're doing those orders, where's the connection? Where's the compassion? The real edge that brick and mortar still has, that these stores have that online does not. That's your Macy's, your Dillard's, your Sephora, your Ulta, your Saks Fifth Avenue, your Nordstrom, your Neiman Marcus, your Bergdorf. All of these stores, and that's just to name a few, but all brick and mortar stores. These stores have the humans inside that most of the time they really care and there's empathy there. Maybe the next skill we need to train isn't sales in this digital world with TikTok and Instagram and Facebook and everything being online, but it's actually empathy. So right after learning how to smile, even though the receipt paper is jammed in the stupid register, or the register shuts down on one of the biggest percent off deals you have going in the store and everybody's scrambling to find the one register, or there's no bags, or you're out of blotter cards and you're literally cutting other brands, which you can't, you're not supposed to, but you might hear say, I can neither confirm nor deny, but you're cutting other brands blotter cards and having to write the name so you can highlight this amazing fragrance. It's $400. All of those things that we do, at the end of it, there is a connection with the human. Connecting. Customer service. Yes, please. So stores today are trying to do more with less. I talk about it a lot. Fewer associates, more tasks. You go to certain stores, there might be less registers or just less registers open because there's not enough associates to open the registers or to maintain certain departments. And customers are looking and walking around. Do you know where I could check out? Do you know where I can find this? And this one associate is scrambling because they're trying to do a return. They're waiting for a manager. And at the same time, they're helping 3 people. So fewer associates, more tasks, and pressure, sales goals. And I'm hungry. I still haven't had my lunch. I forgot my coffee at home. Those are my least favorite pet peeves. I just hate it when that happens. So I will bring that up probably over and over in this podcast until the end of time. So think about this. What if these companies and these stores actually invested more in the people and it actually saved money? This is my opinion, hypothetical, but this actually is a fact that I found online. You could verify, but I found that it could cost 5 to 7 times more to gain a new customer than to keep one. So increasing retention by just 5%, it could raise profits by up to 95%. That's a big deal. Loyalty, it literally pays, not just with customers, but also with associates. So customers, that's what I found online. You can double check. Customers say they'd pay more for a better experience. They're basically shouting, I'll spend more if you just treat me better. But instead, companies keep cutting hours and cutting staff and passing the emotional cost onto associates. When those associates burn out, turnover skyrockets. We've seen it. And in replacing one employee can cost up to 150% of their salary. So cutting service, it does not save money. It spends it. Poor service costs businesses. Let me say that again. Poor service, it costs businesses over about $75 billion a year in lost sales. And it can cause reputation damage because once a customer, they feel unseen, they go shopping and they can't find someone to help, or they're frustrated with the service, it's almost impossible to win them back because everyone can buy the same lipstick online. We can buy handbags online. So what makes someone walk into your store? It's not the price. I mean, of course, it's a good deal. That's very motivating. Absolutely. But when you have a customer service associate behind working with you, and that person, they remember your story, your shade, your name. I'm not the best at that, but I'm working to be better. They remember you. It's impactful. So when companies start viewing service more as a profit center instead of a cost, I believe everything could change. Loyalty costs less than acquisition. Burnout, it costs more than training. And empathy is always going to pay for itself. So maybe the real question isn't whether stores can afford to invest in customer service. It's really whether they can afford not to. The real luxury, it isn't faster checkout. It's not. It's not speed. What do they say? It's not quantity, it's quality. Really, the luxury is in an associate who still has energy left after standing on concrete for 7 hours and maybe having one carpet that's close to the register that's not even that carpety. It's not even that smushy. So you like stand on the corner of it because it's like the only spot where your feet could feel like a little relief. Or it's the associate that can still pronounce, hyaluronic acid after a full day and really know the notes, know the ingredients before their shift is over and still say, have a great day. It was so great to see you. I'll see you for the facial next week. Or I can't wait to call you for our national in November. That's customer service. Now, when you trace all of this back, customer service, it was never meant to be complicated, not like it is now. It really started with people helping people. It's about listening and caring and taking pride in the smallest of details. In the early department store days, it was the tea rooms and the handwritten notes. I just think that I just keep wanting to talk about it. I just want to go back in time. And those long-term relationships. The sale, it came after the service. It wasn't about the sale at the beginning. And somewhere along the way, we've traded connection with all of this digital technology and social media and COVID and everything that's happened in the last, 5-6 years. But we've traded this connection for convenience. But maybe the future of customer service, it isn't about new technology and AI and how can I get more money and how can I sell more? But it's really going to be about restoration, going back to what worked in the beginning, hiring enough people so associates have time to connect again with their clients, training empathy the same way we train sales because people don't remember what they bought. Well, they do. I mean, especially if you've just spent $500 in a really beautiful fragrance. I remember that. I would be very excited. But it's not just that moment. It's the interaction that you had with the person handing you the bag at the end and thanking you for shopping with them when you have all these other choices out there. It's that feeling you get when you buy something from someone that is valuable and you know that they appreciate you. The future of service, it's not faster shipping or smarter algorithms. It's a genuine smile, a sincere thank you, and a team for your store that's supported enough to serve with pride. That's the real luxury. Now, that's the real luxury now. It's always been about humanity and spoiling yourself and doing it with your girlfriend sometimes. But I digress. So, thank you for listening to another episode of Sorry, It's Discontinued. If this episode made you think about your own experiences in retail, what it's like working behind the counter or in a store, or as a customer, share it with someone. Let people know about Sorry, It's Discontinued, someone who understands beauty and what it's like to have burnout in service. Because empathy, it might just be the most valuable thing we can do right now and refocus on and connecting with each other. I just care about you guys, and I want to highlight these experiences that we have working in the service industry and working in retail, my fellow retail warriors. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Thank you so much for spending time with me behind the counter today. If you enjoyed this episode, please follow Sorry It's Discontinued on your favorite podcast app and leave a quick rating or review. It really helps our retail family and fellow customers find the show. You can also connect with me on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook at Sorry It's Discontinued. And if you have your own behind-the-counter story, a discontinued product heartbreak, or a beauty or retail industry confession, send it my way. Your story, it might be featured in a future episode. You can send me a message at sorryitsdiscontinued.com. Now, this podcast, it's independently produced and is not affiliated with any brands or companies mentioned. All stories and opinions shared are personal, reflecting the real-life experiences of those who've worked in this industry with heart and hustle. Thank you for being here. And remember, as cheesy as it sounds, a smile can really brighten someone's day. Honestly, whether you're behind the counter or shopping in front of it. See you next time. Bye. Sorry. It's discontinued.